2.5, na hili linasaidia sana kuchangia katika uchumi wetu na kadhalika. Kwa hivyo hata hawa wamishonari kama wanapendekeza kwamba kuna wengine ambao waje tuzungumzane, idara ya uhamiaji ipo, tuangalie stakabadhi zao na tuwasaidie, kwa sababu sisi ni Kenya ambayo ni nchi inaenzi Ukristo. Wakenya wengi ni Wakristo. Tusaidiane kwa hilo ili tuweze kusonga mbele, na tunakubali kukosolewa kama serikali. Ikikuja kwa masuala ya IEBC, tume huru ya uchaguzi, kile ambacho kimefanyika ni kwamba kulikuwa na kubadilishwa kwa kokimuli. Jambo hilo lilikuwa na mambo masuala ya Azimio, na kwa sababu ya hiyo watu wakakwenda wapi? Kotini. Lakini Mheshimiwa Rais yuko tayari kusonga mbele na kuhakikisha kwamba IEBC ipo pale. Augustine Muli alibadilishwa na yule Koki Muli na kadhalika. Sasa itakuwaje Wakenya wenzangu? Tunasema kwamba hatuna IEBC. Ni kwa sababu wenyewe wao wamezozana, lakini sisi tumesikizana kama serikali. Kwa hivyo sisi tunapoangalia zaidi, tunaona kwamba Kenya inasonga mbele kwa njia nzuri zaidi, watu wanafaidika. Ukiangalia zaidi, kwa mfano kama ni maziwa, bei ya maziwa imeongezeka, kipato kwa cha mkulima kwa 35%, na kwa sababu ya hivyo uzalishaji wa maziwa umeongezeka kwa 13%, kutoka lita bilioni 4.6 mpaka bilioni 5.2 katika mwaka wa 2024, kwa sababu watu wana hizi pesa mfukoni. Kama ni ile Hustler Fund, zaidi ya Wakenya milioni 22 wameweza kupata pesa kutoka kwa mfuko huo, ambao tumepatiana zaidi ya zile bilioni 50 tulizowaahidi. Lakini tunasema Wakenya walipe ndio wengine pia wafaidike, lakini wapo na pesa na wameweza kusave zaidi ya shilingi bilioni 3.2. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa kusema kwamba tupo katika mstari wa mbele wa Kenya wenzangu kuhakikisha kwamba hii nchi ipo salama. Kwa hivyo maaskofu wenzetu, sisi tunawapenda, sisi ni washirika wenu katika parokia zenu. Tuzungumziane, na Mheshimiwa Rais yupo tayari kuwa na vikao na nyinyi, na serikali ipo tayari kuwasikiza, kwa sababu Kenya ni nchi nzuri. Kenya ni nchi ambayo itasonga mbele tukiwa na uwiano na maridhiano. Kenya itainuka, Kenya itasimama, Kenya itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Ladies and gentlemen, we are here as government to clarify on certain weighty issues that were raised by the Catholic bishops yesterday at a press conference that questioned the interventions by the government on various issues affecting our beloved country. The government has taken note of concerns raised by the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, KCCB, regarding various pressing issues affecting our nation. We welcome the bishops' engagement and value their advocacy for the well-being of Kenyans. We wish to respectfully respond to each point raised, affirming our commitment to transparency, accountability, and the welfare of all citizens. On corruption, the government reiterates its commitment to upholding ethical standards in public service as per Article 232 of the Constitution, and continues to prioritize transparency and accountability in its dealing as part of the national values and principles. The head of state and government, His Excellency President William Ruto, has numerously emphasized that his administration is prioritizing the fight against corruption as the most urgent national challenge, calling for swift legislative reforms to tackle this menace head-on. Key among the government's proposals are amendments to the Evidence Act and Criminal Procedure Code to hasten corruption investigations and prosecutions aimed at expeditious conclusion of graft cases within 6 months. To strengthen citizen involvement, the government has proposed amendments to the Witness Protection Act to overhaul protection of whistleblowers, ensuring their safety and incentivizing reporting of corruption and other criminal activities. The administration has tabled amendments to the Public Finance Management Act and the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act, targeting procurement as a focal point of corruption and abuse of office in the public sector. These reforms will introduce a fully digital and transparent procurement platform to provide real-time end-to-end visibility of procurement activities from tender announcements to contract awards. Additionally, the President has engaged Parliament to swiftly pass the Conflict of Interest Bill with a further cautionary commitment that will veto any legislation that fails to meet high standards of accountability and anti-corruption measures. The amendment to the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act also proposed that at least 40% of goods and services procured by the government come from local manufacturers. However, all tenders valued at less than 1 billion shillings will be reserved for Kenyan farms in order to protect our local, micro, small, and medium enterprises from established foreign contractors. This is the real bottom-up. Pesa mfukoni. These proposals will further spur economic growth, creating more jobs, opportunities locally, and truly realize the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative. Thus far, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has recovered process of corruption and stolen public assets to the tune of Kenya shillings 28 billion, comprising of cash, movable and immovable properties, and other belongings. The government is keen on providing a stronger legal framework and adequate budgetary allocation to the graft watch dogs and to effectively undertake their constitutional mandate and to slay the dragon of corruption. On human rights and fundamental freedoms, the government is deeply concerned about the safety and human rights of all Kenyans. In this regard, the National Police Service has reported that during the June and July 2024 protests, 495 police officers and 347 civilians were injured, with another 42 Kenyans unfortunately losing their lives. And this is the official statistics. We do acknowledge the tragic circumstances and confirm that the DCI continues to investigate any disappearances, even as the Independent Policing Oversight Authority remains focused in identifying and addressing any excesses on the side of police. The government is committed to ensuring justice and the respect of human rights and fundamental freedoms, and it will not hesitate to take necessary actions to uphold all of them and to hold anybody accountable. On NHIF, faith-based hospitals, and government commitments, the government is actively addressing the historical NHIF debts, including the Kenya shillings 19 billion owed to healthcare providers. This is a debt of 10 years. And as of now, we have already disbursed 5.05 billion, with faith-based hospitals, including the Catholic hospitals, receiving Kenya shillings 938 million. And further, an additional 2.5 billion is scheduled for disbursement in the next few days. The government assures that these pending bills will be cleared, allowing the healthcare providers to continue serving our people effectively. As we are very committed to the better plan, we are also equally devoted to ensure that each and every promise that we made is realized, and that if people think that it is yet to be done, it's because we are in the midterm. And even when you have a child who is in midterm, you cannot say you now have the report card at the end of the term. The child is still in school. We are only in power for about 2 years. So those of people who are saying it's about lies, no, it's not lies, it's work in progress. We are also telling you our vision. We are telling you what we are intending to do and what we have been able to accomplish. So I think that is something that we need to do between what is and what ought to be. We are making very good progress in securing the legacy of President William Ruto, especially with regard to the 5 pillars of the better plan. In this regard, about universal health care, through the shift to shift, issues of medical bills will permanently be resolved, and that this program will permanently transform the provision of healthcare services to ensure all Kenyans have access to preventable, promotive, palliative, and curative care. And as a result, over 14 million Kenyans have been enrolled in SHIF, and over 60 million, over 60% of employers have also been enrolled. This is a positive feedback on the success of this new medical scheme, and it actually negates what the naysayers and pundits have been saying about it. We therefore ask government urge all Kenyans who have not registered in SHIF to shift to SHIF through *147# or https://www.sha.go.ke and also MATIANG'I, so that you can benefit. And I have, as I said earlier, I have actually benefited personally at a family level. On the proposed extension of tenure of elected leaders, there is nothing like that. This is dead on arrival, because this was a bill that was privately sponsored by Senator Samson Cherargei, who I was privileged to serve with in the last Senate, and it was thus not a government-sponsored bill. And the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee and Human Rights of the Senate did not okay the bill, and so it will not and cannot proceed. We thus urge the Catholic bishops, respectfully, and all other stakeholders to verify information carefully to avoid sensationalism, misinformation and disinformation, and generalizations and assumptions about proposed pieces of legislation in the country. And we are saying this because a lot of lies were told around the finance bill, which had some of the most progressive proposals in June, leading to its demise. So we cannot countenance a situation where this happens again.